It's a quiet night, as the nights in the city always are. It's all he's ever known. He frequents the empty streets often, the one time of the day when his thoughts can run free, when the city sleeps. He's not aware of the tales the street kids tell. The reason the streets are empty. They talk about places that are not good for you. Places where, when the veil is thin in the night, they won't visit. They know there are places where people disappear. Places where people go crazy. And places where they don't want to go to get stoned or sniff glue. Darkness. That's what they call it. Darkness creeping into the world. They can feel it. There are things that can influence humans. And there are things that can cross between the worlds. They feed on suffering and pain. And they bring people into despair. Some of them will say, the drugs help to protect you against it. They close you down. And the things cannot come to you. But others say, this is not true. This is how they get into you. Some people, or so the stories go, even make a pact with these beings. But that's a thing they don't want to talk about. The man doesn't know any of this. Had he been aware of the tales passing through the slum dwellers, he would never have left his flat. But he's not aware. Not yet. He's taking the usual route that leaves him passing the deserted train station. Is it because he's passed it countless times before that he never reflects on the sudden urge to go inside? In any case, he wears off the familiar street and walks towards the abandoned building. It's pressing him forward, pushes him to go inside. It's only as he draws closer that another feeling creeps in on him. That he shouldn't. That he should turn around and keep walking. As he comes to the door, he halts, and despite not believing in old wife tales, turns and hurries back onto the street. He doesn't continue his walk after that, but takes the shortcut that will take him back to his flat. And the whole way, he cannot shake the feeling that something is following him, that there is something in the shadows. It fades as he returns to his flat, and soon he has forgotten about it. As sleep takes him, the dream visits him for the first time. A cloaked man, just out of reach to see, luring at the edges. He never connects the two events, and by the morning, both the dream and what happened on the walk are forgotten. The weeks pass, and he doesn't get a chance to take another walk. He spends his days in the office, and the evenings composing his latest song. It's only after a week of meetings at work that he feels the need to clear his thoughts, and as the city goes to sleep, he puts on his shoes and heads out. He doesn't remember what happened last time. But unbeknownst to him, his feet won't carry him close to the deserted train station again. He takes another path, walking through other empty streets. And the feeling creeps in on him, slowly, at first, that he is followed. A trick of the mind, he tells himself, as he looks around the empty street. But even so, the walk becomes shorter than usual, and he soon returns to his flat. That night, The dream visits him again. But just as last time, the two events remain separate in his mind. In the end, everyone is nightmares sometimes. He'll continue his walks, and most of them will be as quiet as he remembers from the past. But sometimes, the feeling returns. There is something out there. Something he doesn't want to meet. Every time, he tries to talk himself out of it. There is nothing there. He spent too many days alone in his flat. He needs company. Spend the night at the bar with his friends. But each time, the walk will be shorter than usual. Then comes the night when he cannot talk himself out of it any longer. It's a quiet night, and his gaze wanders, his straying thoughts finding the missing notes of his latest song. As he looks up, there is someone standing on the empty street in front of him. A man-shaped figure, draped in black. He swears he doesn't look away. But the next moment, the figure is gone, vanished into thin air. And this he won't be able to explain. Won't be able to talk himself out of. And he turns and runs back to his flat. The night has lost its peacefulness. And left is an uneasy feeling that won't leave him alone. He won't take any more walks after that. The months pass, and he'll spend his evenings by the computer, until enough time has passed for him to tell himself that it was nothing else than a trick of the mind. This time, after so many months, he believes it, and the next night, as the city falls asleep, he puts on his shoes and heads out. The cloaked man doesn't return, nor the creeping feeling of being followed. And slowly, the nights restore themselves to the quiet walks he remembers. By the end of the year, it's nothing but a distant memory, and he has almost forgotten about it. When one night, the cloaked man is standing in front of him again. This time, he doesn't run. The nights are his once again. And as the figure vanishes, he takes up the chase. It leads him to an alley, the only place the man could have disappeared in. But as he looks down the long passage, it's empty. At the end of it, there's a wall, too high for any human to climb. He walks up to it, trying to find a fault where the man could have escaped, but he's left empty-handed. That night, the dream comes to him again, but just as last time, he never connects the two events. It's better to dodge her attention, but if that proves inevitable, it's advisable to ensure that you at least remained in her good graces. Such is her reputation among the other street kids. She likes it. Keeps the plebeians at bay. At the ripe age of 20, she is one of the oldest in the stratum that the bougies of the city call slum dwellers. Not that they know anything. Blind to anything they can't touch and see. Only good for the furnitures they dump when their boredom forces them to renovate the house for the second time in a year. She stays away from the other adepts too. Their magical powers far inferior to hers. Only Gulvi can match her. But even that old lady isn't as well versed in the secrets as her. No. Milady likes her life of solitude. Nothing can beat the silence, and a home that doesn't stink of glue. Today had been an ordinary day. She'd finished the brew that she delivered, began another, and read a book about a particularly difficult spell. Now, she's back in her basement, the abandoned building she'd made into a home. Or, if you were one of those debt-ridden dumbasses who slaved your life away just to be able to afford a single-room flat, you wouldn't call it a home. Not that she cared. It has running water, but only cold. And the electric stove will give you shocks if you're not careful. The furnitures are scavenged from what the hipsters of the city has left behind. Only the mattress could do with an upgrade. But maybe Rat knew of someone she could get it from. All in all, it had been a catch, finding this place. Sure, you had to enter through the window, since the door was buried under fallen rubble. But once she had realized its position to the ley lines, she had decided to keep it. She'd cast every spell she knew for protection, taken her suitcase, and moved in. That was 6 years ago. Now, do I hear you asking about the spells? Superstitious nonsense, you mumble. Well, then you are as blind as the bougies of the city. Let's just say that the owners still argue about who has the right to the house, and the court cases have lasted for over 10 years. She plans to keep it that way. It's falling dark outside, and as the city falls asleep, she climbs out the window and sets out to deliver the spell she's been working on that day. She knows of the tales the other street kids tell about the night, but it's none of her concern. After all, she hasn't grown to become one of the most powerful adepts she knows for nothing. It's a quiet night, as the city always is. She enjoys the empty streets, having taken a dislike to people at a young age. Commoners with mindless hobbies, or even worse, glue sniffing. They were only good for doing trades and scoring deals. She rounds a corner, thinking about the spell she'd read about today, and wondering if Rat would be a good target to try it on, when she looks up and stops dead in her tracks. A bit away, there is a man standing. A cloaked man, dressed in black. Moments later, he is gone and she is left staring at an empty street. She knows of him. Knows about the tales told about his appearance. And it's not a good sign. The world is changing. She turns around and hurries back home, locking the window behind her. She throws the backpack in the corner and picks up the tarot deck lying on the chair. Her hands are shaking as she shuffles the card and asks the question. She hasn't picked up the cards in a long while. You don't do readings lightly, and any attempt to see the future will affect it. But a sign like this cannot be ignored. She deals out the cards and leans over. Tower, Resurrection, Lovers, Star, and the Chariot. The answer is deeper than she'd wished for, their meaning difficult to interpret. She flips open the book next to her and reads it. Yes, there is action to be taken. She turns the page. But what kind? She puts the book down, gathers the card and stares at the wall. The world is changing. The destiny is set in motion. And she knows nothing will be the same now when the Shadow Man has entered this world. It unsettles her. Even she knows there are paths you shouldn't walk, roads you should never take, because the power serves you, and you serve the power, and you might never be the same once you've gone too deep. There was only one thing to do. It was time to visit Gulvi. She wakes up in an unholy hour the next day, stumbles over to the kitchen, steers instant coffee into a plastic cup of cold water, and gulps it down. What pains must you endure when you possess wisdom beyond the rabble? She tosses the cup in the sink, takes her backpack, and climbs out the window. The old lady lives on the other side of town. Known as the priestess, she's the matriarch whose magical knowledge has been passed down through generations. Milady met her on her first day in the city, and you would think that you would hear some well-chosen words about her. Despite the weak tea she always serves, she has come to earn the closest to respect Milady has ever afforded anyone. She walks up the small front yard and knocks on the door. It's custom to have your toes frozen to bits or the gap in your neck sunburned by the time Gulvi manages to get to the door. But today, she opens it before Milady even manages to pick up her notebook from the backpack. It didn't take you long. Come inside. Gulvi turns and walks back into the house, and Milady is left staring at her crooked back. This is a new level of psychic powers, even for Gulvi. She follows her into the house, which has thankfully always been absent of the usual old lady smells of the stale cooking and laundry liquid. Gulvi might be old, but there are some things she stayed away from. She gestures at the sofa, and Milady has barely sat down when Gulvi asks, "So, what have you seen?" Milady stares at her. How does she know? I saw the shadow man. So it's true. What have you seen? I saw his shadow in my divination. Shit. So it has begun then. The destiny is set in motion. Milady sits quietly for a moment before saying, I asked the cards for clarity, but they... You tried to look at the destiny of the Shadow Walker. What have you done, you silly girl? It was only a quick spread, Milady says. But Gulvi shakes her head at the foolishness. So what do we do? Milady asks after a while. The cards talked about action, but I don't understand what we need to do. Gulvi takes a miserable breath. It means we need to cross the worlds. Cross the worlds? Gulvi nods. Milady stares out the window. This is bad. She's read about crossing the worlds, of course. You don't become an adept without encountering the tales of the Guardians. And for that precise reason, you also know to stay the hell out of it. Not that you're given any choice now. Once you've seen the Shadowman, there's no turning back. We can't be hasty in this, Gulvi says, interrupting her thoughts. We need to come out alive. We need to prepare. Milady notices Gulvi's use of the word we, and she winces. She had hoped that, as the oldest and most experienced of them, she would take it upon herself to fulfill the deed. But it looks like she's counting on Milady to come. Take this. Gulvi pushes a paper bag in her hands. You'll need it for the preparations. You know what to do. We'll talk more next week. She stands up and ushers Milady out the door, and before she knows it, She's standing on the sidewalk, and the door shuts behind her. She had hoped the old witch would have given more reassurance. It's not every day you get to know that you will cross the worlds as the first one in over 80 years. She opens the paper bag and looks inside. There's a small silver key lying at the bottom. Shit. This is what you want me to do. Milady hurls the backpack in the corner as she arrives back home, pours herself a drink and downs it. Drastic times call for drastic measures. She pours herself another one. Crossing the worlds. That was not the plan she had for her life. Of all the folks he could have shown himself to, he chose her. What the fuck is that all about? It's not like she has any choice now. As opposed to some hapless bougie who must have seen him as well. At least they could ignore him. She slumps down on the worn sofa and stares at the wall. A month from now, and she and Gulby will thin the veil and cross over. God knows what shape they will return in. If they do return. Damn her prying mind. She could have just let the tarot be. Gone on with her life, pretended not to have seen him, and then it would have been too late. She glares at the bricked up window. They will need to come up with a payment. The bribe for the guardians. There will be a contract made, she knows. A deal with them to enter. She has no clue what they would accept. An infused amulet? Time of servitude? No freaking idea. But they won't be able to cross the worlds without it. And if they are unlucky, will not even return alive. Most of her magic skills comes from intuition, books, and mistakes. But at this moment, her intuition stays quiet, mistakes are non-existent in this area, and none of the books will give a damn answer to what would be a suitable price. No, they only go on and on about that it needs to be a fair deal, as if she couldn't figure out that by herself. She knows this much at least. Simply burning incense, as she has seen recommended in the occult magazines pretending to know something, that is not the answer. You might as well unlive yourself before even opening the portal. Must be less painful than what the guardians will do to you. She writes price in the notebook next to her and circles it with a red pen. She'll need to talk to Gulby about it. So, that's her month planned out. Find a way to keep herself alive. Prepare brews and cast spells. She sighs, pushes herself up, and takes out a book from the tilting shelf. No time to waste, you bastard. And thus her week passes, faster than she'd wished. She visits every single herb shop in the city, stays up late to make sure all the spells are noted down, and then there is the freaking price. She's looked through every book she owns, and trust me, she has quite a library, being a self-taught adept. But not a single one will specify what would be good enough for the guardians. In her notebook, she's written down a list of potential suspects. A chicken? Probably not enough. Goat? Well, there are those voodoo priests. They're specializing in that. But to pull a feathered goat through the city and into the portal. As if she didn't have enough to think about already. She crosses it off the list. The answer comes from an unexpected direction when, one day, she's on her way back from collecting herbs for the latest brew, when she sees Rat in the park. He struck up some girl. A runaway, by the look of her fancy clothes. His latest victim, she assumes. He specializes in that. The easy targets that will secure him another supply for the night. She continues her walk, and is almost past them when intuition whispers, "That's it. That's the answer to the prize." She halts and looks at him. He leans over the bougie, and she giggles at something he says. Oh, the star. And the chariot. Yes, of course. That's what they meant. And rat is the answer. She hasn't considered human sacrifice so far. It's not part of her normal repertoire. After all, you need to draw a line somewhere. But the portal needs to be closed. And if this is the way, she is not the one to question it. And anyway, he might not be an actual sacrifice. It could be enough with simply shedding some blood. And in any case, no one would miss Rat would something go wrong. Hey, Jake! That's his second street name, in case you wonder. The one used to make a living, aka woo unsuspecting victims, dodge the police, or any other shady businesses where it's better to keep low key. Jake! Jake! She's surprised he remembers his name. You can never be real certain about the state of his glue-eaten brain. He swears silently when he sees her approaching. But his latest victim is apparently important enough not to screw it up. So he puts on his Jake face in her honor. Oh, Rachel! Long time no see! How are you? She never knows if he invents the names, or simply doesn't remember what she's called. Doesn't matter. The less time you spend with Rat, the better. She's always suspected that his eroded grey matter can infect you simply by his mere presence. Jake, do you have a moment? A moment? Well, it depends. I just met this lovely girl here. I'm helping her find a place to sleep. She's homeless, just like me. Yes, a moment, Jake. Can you come? He glances at the girl. She smiles eagerly, probably happy she's found a friend in this new city. She'd be better off wandering the highway than being in any proximity to Rat. You just wait here. I'm coming back in just a little second, he says to the girl. He knows his place in the pecking order. The street is built on reputation, and in Rat's case, his glue-infested mind made sure he ended up at the bottom. He saunters over to Milady. What you want? I'm busy. I have a favor to ask you. A favor? Nothing makes Rat listen as the prospect of his next score. There is a small thing you could do for me. Like what? I'm busy tonight. It's not for tonight. It will be for next month. Rat's eyes screw shut. Difficult concept for his disintegrated brain. To understand any time that is further away than tomorrow. But I can pay you tomorrow, okay? Milady adds. Well, you better. What is it then? You will help me with a little magical task. He starts to back away. Not a chance. Not a chance. I'll pay you good, Milady tries. Not a chance, man. Not a chance, man. I need to go. Ciao. He turns and hurries back to the girl. And Milady is left staring. That was not how it's supposed to go. He leans over and whispers something to the girl when it hits Milady. It's not him. It's the girl I need. Jake! Wait! He turns and glances at her. He's most definitely out of glue, because he walks back to her. What you want? I have a better deal for you. Nothing to do with magic. So then what? Sell me your prey. Sell you my prey? Sweet spot. What's your price? He has already abandoned the girl in his mind, you can see, dreaming of what he can get tonight. A bottle of vodka and a hash cake? I'm not that cheap. 50? Milady knows he lost the ability to count above 10 a long time ago. She almost expects him to start to count on his fingers when he says 100. Oh, so we're playing that game now? Never mind, I need the girl. Deal. That's the best deal he has scored in a long while. She opens her backpack to pay him, and she hears him mumble to himself, Maybe I can go and get something to eat. Get a drink. Not the cheapest one. No, 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 no. That makes my stomach churn. And stoned. I can get stoned. And something else. Mushrooms. Yeah, mushrooms sounds good. Mushrooms and wine. She hands him the cash, and without even looking at the girl, he takes it and walks away. Probably to the closest liquor shop. Lucy watches Jake leave and hesitantly stands up. But bye! Maybe he doesn't hear her, because he doesn't turn and soon he has disappeared behind the corner. See you later! Perhaps she can visit him one day, and then he can show her around the city, as he said he would. The girl he talked to walks over to her. She's dressed in black, with a pendant around her neck. There is a star hanging from it. Hi, my name is Rachel. Jake told me you needed somewhere to stay tonight. Her voice is really kind, and she puts a hand on Lucy's shoulder. Yeah, I just arrived in the city. I ran away. Yeah, that's fine. You're not the only one. You can stay with me if you want. I have a nice house. It's a bit humid, but it's a good place. Really? Jake told me I could stay with him too. Yeah, I'm sure he did. The girl starts to walk and Lucy hurries to get her backpack and follows. This is a nice city, just as she'd hoped for. And everyone is so friendly. Maybe it will be alright in the end. And she can find friends here and somewhere to live. So, where do you come from? The girl asks. Lucy mentions a town not far from here, and Rachel nods. I've been there once. It's a pretty town. Have you seen much of this city yet? And she keeps talking as they walk, pointing out places where you can get food and places to avoid and where the best sleeping quarters are, in case Lucy would need them. It all goes so quickly and she's all dizzy from the kind-heartedness that she doesn't even notice when Rachel stops. Here we are. They are standing in front of an abandoned building. The top floor's in ruin. This is where you live? Rachel nods and walks over to a window at ground level. Come, I'll show you. She climbs inside, and Lucy glances back at the street before she follows. She's never used the window as a door before. That's a bit strange. It's difficult to get inside too, but she manages to tumble through the window and thumps down on the sofa standing just below. She gets up and brushes the dust from her trousers. This is your home. She looks around the basement. There is a moth-eaten carpet on the ground, and the sink in the kitchen is rusted. The tap is held to the wall with rubber bands, and on a rickety table stands a lamp made out of beer cans. It's nice. This must be how it is to live on the street. I mean, she can't expect a house like her old one. And at least they have roof over their head here. Are you hungry? Rachel takes a stained plate from the cupboard, opens a tin and pours the content onto the plate. Here. Thank you. She looks at the yellow mush on the plate. Is it safe to eat unheated tins? Dogs eat them, she knows. Rachel serves herself the same meal and sits down on the sofa. Perhaps this time it's okay? She glances around the room. Wasn't it a film she watched, where a lost girl was picked up by a stranger? Yeah, they became best friends in the end, and moved into a new flat together. Maybe she can have friends here too, and get a job. She chews on a piece of gristle and coughs. And better food. She only steers the food around the plate after that. And when Rachel puts her empty plate away, Lucy follows suit. Thank you. I wasn't so hungry in the end, but it was very kind of you to offer. The girl takes both plates and puts them in the sink, and then gestures at the stained mattress on the floor. You can have my bed tonight. Oh, it has a brown spot from some unidentified liquid in the corner. And maybe the sheets are in the laundry because it's only a thin blanket on it as a duvet. She puts her jacket between her and the bed as she sits down. So, is it expensive, this flat? She needs to be kind and interested in those she meets. Otherwise, she'll never get friends. The girl coughs in surprise. Expensive? I don't pay for it. Oh, so it's like she's read about in the books, where people take over abandoned places. They call it squatting, she thinks. She wanted to try that. It's so nice that you found somewhere to stay. Are the flats expensive here, if you want to rent? How the fuck would I know? The girl mumbles in reply. They sit silently for a moment. But she knows from the movies that you should keep talking if you want to make friends. They need to get to know you. He was very kind, Jake. Is he your friend too? Rachel rolls her eyes. He's not called Jake. He's called Rat. And he's into glue. Glue? Does he sell it? He didn't look like he had a business. But maybe he's selling on the side. She's seen films where the street kids sell things on the marketplace. No, he sniffs glue. Oh. Like in the movies? Yes, like in the movies. But he was nice to me. Rachel sighs. Yes, because you were his gateway to his next tube. I was? She stares at Rachel. He wanted to steal from me. Yes. Oh. Thank you for saving me. Maybe he wasn't so kind then. But if you sniff glue, you must be lonely. Maybe it wasn't his fault. Is that how it is to live on the street? What you mean? Stealing. And then she adds without thinking, do you steal? The girl rolls her eyes. No, I don't steal. I work. But yes, people do steal. Oh, that makes sense. I mean, it can't be easy living on the street. And you need food. She hopes she doesn't need to steal. So, what work do you do? Bits and pieces here and there, scraping a living. Really? Maybe I can do that too. Rachel looks at her. Actually, you know what? You could work for me. I could have a helper. And I would delegate things to you. Would you like that? It's exactly like the book she read. The girl got a job helping her friend. Yeah, I can help you. We can do that. Her first friend, just like the movies. She can help her. And Rachel will take care of her. Oh, but I don't have anywhere to stay though. You can stay here for now. Oh, thank you. Thank you. When can I start? Let's try for 2 weeks first. And if you do a good job, you can keep doing it. Okay? Lucy bobs her head up and down. Yeah, I will do my absolute best. I will do my best. Okay, so tomorrow I will show you and give you the first couple of tasks. Okay? Okay, I won't disappoint you, I promise. And they go to bed after that. And Rachel turns off the lamp made from beer cans in the corner. She has her first friend now. And tomorrow she'll get a job. This turned out better than she thought. This could work out. Milady pulls out 2 plates for breakfast and pours the content of another tin on them. Meatballs, this time. If Lucy works for her, then being part of the ritual will simply be a job. Then she can explain it to Lucy too. It would be easier than she thought. So now she'll only need to keep her busy for the next month. And once they're getting closer, she'll simply come up with a job to do for Gulvi and they'll cross the worlds. This worked out better than she thought. Now it's only the rest of the preparations to do. But they will be easy, now when they have the prize. Is it morning yet? Lucy stares on the mattress and sits up, her hair askew. She'll need to find tasks for her. Make sure she's not a complete idiot. Milady's expectations have lowered the more she gets to know her, but with clear instructions, it might still work. Yes. Are you hungry? Lucy stumbles to the kitchen. She has a t-shirt with a pastel horse on it, and the text "Life is better" in pink above it, and a heart circling it. Here, I made us some breakfast. Lucy takes the plate and sits down on the sofa. So when did you run away? Milady asks. Yesterday. And someone will be looking for you? Looking for me? Yes, looking for you. Will someone report you missing? Oh. Yeah, I think so. Then we need to make something with your looks. My looks? Yes, your looks. People will recognize you if you look like that. Oh. I have some hair dye we can use. And I'll lend you some of my clothes. Milady takes her plate of meatballs and sits down on the sofa. She'll need to talk to Gulvi soon too. She'll be happy to know that the prize is handled. She puts the empty plate to the side. I'll cut your hair. Come. She pulls out a chair, and Lucy hesitantly gets up and sits down. Will you cut a lot? As much as is needed. It takes the whole morning, but when she's done, she would be hard-pressed to have recognized Lucy on the street. Green, spiky hair, a black t-shirt with a faded print, and a pair of worn jeans. Quite a good work, if she might say so herself. Now it's just a name. Name? Yes, you can't be Lucy here. I can't? No, because then people might recognize you. Oh. Does everyone have a different name on the street? You too? Yes. What are you called? You can call me Milady. I could be Mary. Or Annabelle. I like that name. It was a movie once that... You can't be Annabelle. No? No. Why? I like that name. Let's just say it won't work here. No? No. Fucking Annabelle Tinkerbell. She might as well have a neon sign above her saying, "Please scam me." So, what do you suggest then? Well, you could take something like Razor or Shank. What is Shank? Just think about it, okay? Okay. Milady cleans up the dye and the clothes, and then says, I'll be in the other room. I need to prepare tasks for you today. Just stay here, okay? Okay. Milady closes the door behind her. It's her adept room, where she keeps most of her books, the cauldron, and spells. Lucy hasn't seen it yet, and she plans to keep it that way. There is no need for her to know what she's doing. She picks up the tarot. The cards are as vague as the last spread, but at least she can read hope in there. Well, that's a good sign. It means they are on the right path at least. And maybe Gulvi will have some more information after this week. In the end, the books and her intuition have led her right so far on her path. She gathers the cards. The ritual. She wonders. No, never mind. It might not be as bad as she thinks. And the cards only spoke about hope. It wasn't as if the tower came into the spread or anything. In any case, she's doing Lucy a favor. Being with her for a month would be better than anything Rat would have done to her. At least she has a roof over her head here, and food on the table. And she's stupid enough to get herself into another trouble. Better than that she stays with her. She puts the cards aside, gets up, and takes out a herb bag from a drawer. Lucy can deliver this to the other side of town. Can't be too difficult for her. She puts the herbs in a bag and goes back to the living room. Lucy's sitting on the sofa, watching the room in anticipation. I have the first task for you. Really? She leaps off the sofa. Get this to the other side of town. The address is written on it. Lucy skips over to her and clutches the small bag to her chest. I won't disappoint you, I swear. Fine. And what name will you go by? Name? Oh, I think I will be Annaby. Fine. Now go. Lucy cradles the small bag in her hand as she hurries along the street. She won't disappoint Milady. She won't let her down. She'll show her she can do it. Her new friend. A car honks and, oh, she didn't look before stepping out on the street. She backs onto the pavement as the car speeds past her. She needs to be more attentive. She carefully checks both directions before crossing this time. As she walks, the breeze finds its way through her frayed jeans. The new clothes feel so different. She touches her short hair. At least no one will recognize her now. She liked her long hair. But you can't expect to be the same when you live on the street. And Milady is right. She would have been recognized. She's clever, Milady. She knows how to survive on the street. She looks at the small package in her hand. It will be delivered to... Oh no! She forgot to ask for directions. She doesn't know where the address is. She looks down the street. Should she ask someone? No, maybe they will remember her. Oh, there's a small shop in the corner. Perhaps you can find a map there. She walks over to it, and maybe she should alter her voice too, but no, she's not a very good actress. She keeps her gaze down as she points at the map in the corner. The shop owner fetches it for her, without a word. And she throws the coins on the counter and hurries out. Did he recognize her? No, she's just a street kid now. And she's called Annaby. She needs to remember that. She opens the map. Oh, the address really is on the other side of town. It will take her most of the day to walk there. She could get a taxi, but maybe the driver will remember her. Oh no, there must be buses. Oh, there's a bus stop just over there. She skips over to it and looks at the route map. It looks like you can get closer to the place at least. She'll do that. She'll take the bus. Then she'll be home faster too, and can help Milady with another task. It's a long journey, but she makes it in the end. The instructions on the small bag say to simply leave it in the mailbox, and after checking 3 times to make sure it's the right one, she drops it into the green box. The journey home is uneventful, but she's done her first job successfully. Milady can count on her, and they can be real friends now. She dashes home from the bus stop, climbs through the window, and lands again with a thump on the sofa. She needs to see how Milady does that. I'm home! I delivered it! Milady looks up from the book she's reading on the sofa. Good. Lucy waits for her to say something more, but she just closes the book and says, I need to go out. I'll be back in a couple of hours. Shall I come? I can help you. No. She takes her backpack without another word, climbs out the window and disappears. Lucy looks around the dirty basement. Maybe she can clean now when they both live here. She can make it nice and homey. She drags the sofa to the side. Oh, it's so heavy. And rolls up the moth-eaten carpet. There's only a threadbare broom in the corner, but it will do. The air is all dusty once she swept the floor, and she opens the windows to air it. And, oh, the cupboards! They don't seem to have been cleaned since Milady moved in, but there's a bucket with a broken handle under the sink she can use. She fills it with water, and pours what she hopes is washing liquid into it. The shelves are hard to clean, but once she's done, she can see the yellow color that was beneath all the grease. She looks around. Perhaps she can even arrange the furniture. That will make it even more cozy. And the mattress, it can be put along the wall. It will be nicer to sleep for both of them. It takes her most of an hour, but once she's done, she looks out over the small room. It's much cozier. Maybe she can even buy some textiles and put them up on the wall to cover the pipes that run along it. She hears a creak, and Milady climbs through the window. Lucy patiently waits until she stood up from the sofa before announcing, "Welcome home! I made it nice for us." Milady brushes off her dress and stares at the room. "What have you done?" "I've cleaned it. I thought I would make it nice now when we both live here. I swept the floor and I was thinking of getting some flowers next." Milady holds up a hand in the air. "No." "No?" "No. You don't live here." "But..." "No, you don't live here. I live here. You stay here." "But I just wanted to make it nice for us." "There is no us, okay? You're staying here. You're working for me. This is not your basement. This is my basement. And I keep it in whatever fucking order I want. Okay?" "Okay. Maybe I can put it back." She takes hold of the chair next to her. "No, just leave it." "Okay." Milady hurls her backpack in the corner and sits down on the newly moved sofa. Lucy hesitantly takes the seat of the chair. What did she do wrong? She just wanted to make it nice for them, and now Milady is all angry. What if she wants to give her more tasks? What if she will throw her out, and she needs to live on the street? There's nothing like that in any of the films she's watched. She glances at Milady. She's opened another book and is taking notes from it. Lucy doesn't dare to move, and doesn't make another sound for the rest of the day. As the evening comes, she lies down on the mattress and silently slips underneath the thin blanket. Milady is still up, reading a book, but eventually she hears her lie down and turn off the light. Fuck. Why does Lucy need to be so dumb? Thinking they are friends and the basement is her home. They are not friends. They've never been, and it's not like they're gonna be either. Milady looks over to her right before crossing the street. And cleaning? Who told her to clean? She's only staying with her to... No, she's working for her. She's giving her a job. She even gives Lucy money for tasks that she could have done herself. Lucy should be grateful she's not thrown out. She would have been if it wasn't for... Never mind, doesn't matter. She shouldn't have started to treat the basement as her home. Simple as that. Stupid girl. She crosses the street. She's almost at Gulvis. At least they are proceeding according to plan, and everything is going smoother than she thought. As long as the Guardians accept Lucy, the crossing shouldn't be difficult. She knows the spell for closing the portal. She's practiced it over the last few days. Then it's just hoping they won't meet anything on the other side. But they should be able to deal with it if they do. She hopes, at least. There's only so much you can prepare for a mission with scant instructions. But it's not like the shadow man gave them any choice, did he? She steps into Gulvi's front yard and knocks on the door. She can't believe Lucy really cleaned the basement, thinking they're friends. Come in, Gulvi says as she opens the door. Milady follows her inside. The order is restored once again, she sees, because on the table in the living room stands a steaming kettle of tea and 2 cups. Gulvi gestures for her to sit down and hands her one. How's the week been? We have the price. Gulvi's eyes widen. Really? So fast? Yeah, I found this girl. She tells her about Rat and the runaway girl he'd struck up in the park. Gulvi nods and hums as she talks. And when she's finished, Gulvi turns to gaze out of the window. And you think she'll work? My intuition tells me it's the right deal. Gulvi nods, fidgeting with a cup in her hand. Why can't the old crump just be happy? And... Gulvi sighs. Do you think it's advisable to use her? What else? Don't you start to. It's enough having Lucy at home. She's just a girl. Well, if you have any other payment that will keep us alive, I'm all ears. Gulvi doesn't answer, and Milady says, So what do you suggest? That we just leave it and let the Shadow Man roam free? Or shall we meet the Guardians with a freaking chicken and hope for the best? No, but still. Milady leans forward and takes Gulvi's hands. It's too late to stop it. And anyway, she glances down before looking up again. Do you really know what will happen to her? No, no one knows. They might just shed her blood and nothing else. Do you want to be the one responsible for letting the Shadow Man and God knows what else to escape and mill about? Of course not. So there you have it. We can't back out now. The girl will work, I feel it. And we don't have time to look for an underpayment. Gulvi sighs. I know, She's just a girl. We don't do human sacrifice. We don't know if it will be a sacrifice, Milady jolts from the sofa. We simply know that she's the payment. No one knows what will happen because the freaking books won't tell us, will they? Calm down. Milady slumps down on the sofa. I know you're worried too, Gulvi says. Well, of course I am. I don't want the freaking Shadow Man to prowl the night, do I? Not him. About the girl. Milady looks away. But I don't see any other way, Gulvi sighs. But it would be better if it wasn't the case. They sit quietly. Milady scratching a scab that starts to bleed. After a long while, Gulvi says, I've cast the spells. It's all ready. Good. And you'll need to prepare Lucy. I know I already have a plan. She tells Gulvi about the idea she has, and Gulvi nods. It should work. Milady leaves after that. Stupid shit. Why the heck was she tasked with all of this? She hurries home. Lucy sits on the sofa as she arrives. She looks so small. Her hands in her lap, staring at the floor. Milady throws her backpack in the corner. Stupid girl. Milady has done her a favor and she doesn't even have the wit to be grateful. She would have probably enlivened herself by now if she had been left on the street. I might have a job for us, she says as she walks over to the kitchen. At least you can initiate the excuse for going to Gulvi. Lucy looks up. A job? Yeah, and a well-paid one at that. We're running low on cash. Oh, I have money. Enough to last us for a month? No. So then this job it is. She waits for Lucy to ask more about it. She thought she would be at least excited to do a job together. But she sits quietly, watching the floor. Damn, why does she need to be like this? It's this crazy lady that I know. She believes in magic. Magic? Yeah, you know, black candles and silver crosses and cats. Lucy moves a bit closer, and Milady's voice softens. We'll do a kind of theater for her. But I'm not an actor. Well, me neither. But she pays well. But do I need to perform on the stage? No. It's just a small ritual in her home. Oh, what do I need to do? It's kind of boring. You need to memorize some text. It's not much. And then you just stand there and simply repeat it when she tells you to. She will burn some incense and she'll sing. She has a horrible voice. And she'll give us $100 for it. Oh, I think I can do that. Yeah, we can do that. It will give us enough money for another month. Lucy smiles, and when she suggests that she can cook for the night, Milady agrees and heads to the other room. Stupid girl. How can she even be so naive? You can simply tell her anything and she'll believe it. In any case, she would have lived longer staying with her, and she might still live after the ritual. The next weeks pass by too quickly. Milady lays the final hand on the bruise, notes down the last spells. She has Lucy running errands, simple packages to deliver. And each evening, Lucy reverts more and more to her old annoying self of asking stupid questions. She keeps the basement out of the conversation this time, but she has a continuous stream of questions about street life and how it is to live there. Milady chokes down her carefully crafted responses, and instead opts to answer Lucy with as much pleasantness as she can. She needs her to trust her again. Then happens the thing that mustn't be. The ritual is just a couple of days away, and Milady sits on the sofa, another book open next to her, when Lucy clambers through the window. She's refined her entry technique over the last weeks, but this time she tumbles through the window and rolls off the sofa with her hair askew. As she stands up, she glances up behind her, out the window. Is everything okay? Milady asks. I think I was followed. Followed? Who follows a street kid around in the night? Yeah, I saw this man. Man? Yeah, it was strange. I saw him and then suddenly he disappeared. And then he turned up again suddenly from nowhere. How did he look like? He was dressed in black, like a cape. I've never seen him before. Fuck. The freaking Shadow Man. Milady takes a deep breath. And you're sure it wasn't just a cat? Sometimes the mind can play tricks on you. I don't know. I'm sure it was just a cat and its shadow in the streetlight. It can look strange sometimes. And anyway, no man can disappear just like that. Lucy doesn't seem convinced, but she stays quiet. And Milady gets up. Let's eat and go to sleep. We need to be well rested for the job in a couple of days. She pours the contents of a tin into a bowl and hands Lucy. She takes it without a word. I'll be right back. I just need to check something. Milady heads to the other room and closes the door behind her. Fuck. The freaking Shadow Man has shown himself to Lucy. What the fuck does this mean? Does it mean she can't be used and they can't do the ritual? But it's too late now. Gulvi has already cast the spells. Fuck. She paces back and forth in the small room. She needs to talk to Gulvi. Fuck, they can't stop it. It's too late. But fuck, what if the Guardians won't accept her? What then? She hears Lucy putting the bowl in the sink and climbing into bed. The ritual is only a couple of days away. There is no way they can find another prize in that time. She picks out a book from the shelf. One of the best there is about the Shadow Man. All adepts worth their name know about him, of course. Just like Crossing the Worlds. But who he is and what he wants, no one seems to be able to answer. She skims through the pages. The one he shows himself to has a part to play. Seeing him is not a random act. He returns every century or so. She knows all of that. But they won't tell her if seeing him means you can't pay the payment. All they give her is the phrase, has a role to play. But what the heck does that mean? She's always thought that it meant that you can't be the price. It's a passive role being the payment. But of course the books are so freaking vague you can't be sure. But if they get it wrong, they're screwed. She flicks through the pages. She already knows they don't mention a suitable price. She's gone through the book several times, and nothing else worthy of interest catches her attention, and she closes the book. Will they risk Lucy not being suitable? There would be a potential death sentence. But there is no way they would be able to find another price now. She needs to talk to Gulby tomorrow. She's up before Lucy for once. And as Lucy stares in bed, Milady has already slung her backpack over her shoulder and says, I need to go and visit the old lady. She always has some extra requests at the last minute. I better get them now. Can I come with you and see it? Lucy scrambles up. No, just stay here. I'll tell you if anything new has come up. Milady climbs out a window and hurries through the streets. She's breathing hard as she knocks on Gulby's door. Oh, I didn't expect you, Gulby says as she opens. Come inside. Milady follows her. And before Gulby has time to ask what's the matter, Milady blurts out, Lucy saw the shadow man. Gulby sinks down on the sofa, her face pale. The shadow man? Are you sure? Milady nods. Yesterday, he showed himself to her. So she can't pay the price, Gulby says after a while. I don't know, I don't think so. Gulby sighs and shakes her head. What are we going to do? Milady asks. We don't have time to find another price. The ritual is just in a couple of days. Can we offer something else? Like what? Chicken? Gulby suggests. Not enough, I'm sure of it. Goat? Where will we get that from? It's not like the voodoo priest give them away freely. And anyway, I don't think it's enough. They go quiet. Are we sure she won't be able to be the prize? Gulby asks. I don't know, it's not like you get any clear answers from the freaking books. But you know that seeing the shadow man means you have a role to play. And I've never heard of the prize being anything else than passive. Gulby hums. We can't stop it. I can't undo the spells I've cast. So we just go with it? Gulby sighs. I don't see any other option. I don't like it, but I don't know what else. Milady gets up. Fuck. They might as well sign their own death sentence. How the fuck will they get out of this? She leaves without another word. 2 days from now, and they will thin the veil. With a half-assed price. Fuck.